I loved this video because it showed two bulls running away from a fierce attack by a lion, and I actually thought of Apple and Google. Both of those stocks have been on decline since their bad earnings. But then Meta and Amazon came out and killed it, and we saw that even Apple and Google seemed to bounce off support and begin to go back bullish. Let's watch that video together one more time. So that's right, the big tech bulls are continuing to go on the run, and I'm going to give you guys a great video. We're going to talk about some top news stories. I'm going to get into some crypto. I'm actually going to cover some technicals on two big tech companies that are running. This is the Stocks with Josh show. Thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you for hitting the like, say hi in the comments, and hit that subscribe to get help trading these markets on a bull run. When are they going to turn around? Well, I've got some insights into the charts I'm going to give you guys today. I think it's going to be a great show. All right, let's just kick things off with covering some important news. Meta, Amazon rally, boost the S&P 500, the NASDAQ early. So S&P 500 has been on a run. Are we at a place where it's time for this thing to cool off? Well, if we go back to our October swing low, we're up 21%. A 20% swing is significant. That's a big move for the S&P 500. And the last time we had a full 20% move, it corrected 10% to the downside. And from there, we've now moved up in another 20%. It's actually up 21%. And so the fact is, this is a place in time in which it would make some sense for the market after it made all-time highs to take a minute and digest the move, and it wouldn't be unrealistic for us to mark on our charts a 5 or 10% pullback. But I don't think this run-up is over just yet, and I've got a clue in another news story that I'm going to give to you guys and explain to you why. So the big winners today were Meta and Amazon, and so the question goes, where can these go next? Is the run over? Well, I'm going to show you guys where they could possibly go to, some areas I've identified for both of them. But let's just quickly cover why the market got so excited about Meta. Well, for one, they did their very first dividend declaration, and that's huge, especially for a growth stock. These guys went up 16% on revenue, users were up, and their expenses only went up 1%. And if you guys have been following this page, I often talk about profit margins and the preservation of that sacred profit margin, something that Elon has neglected, and that's why the stock price of Tesla is down. But Meta's proven that they can do a good job at it. They basically only increased their expenses by 1%, but they increased their revenue by 16% and gained a bunch of new users, which means that Meta's hot, and it makes sense that the share price is climbing. Now, where did it climb to? These guys went up 24%, a $93 bump up to $480. And I'm going to tell you that on the charts, the resistance lines that I've drawn show that this absolutely could pop up and touch $500. And if you think that Meta, it can't go a dollar higher, let me know in the comments why. And then we've got Amazon. Now, Amazon beat, but the best part of the Amazon beat is that they gave optimistic forward guidance, and that's what Wall Street needs to hear right now from big tech. Now, on their earnings, they went up 8%, which was a $12 bump all the way to the high price target of $172. And if you look at my chart, I think that there is some interesting ascending and horizontal resistance at $177. And so for me, that could be a price of destiny ahead of Amazon. Now, do not go all in on Amazon and say Josh said this was going up to $177. We're looking at areas where this might stop. It's on a heater right now, and that's an area where I see two intersecting lines of resistance. And so I could see it absolutely coming to a stall point there. Put it on your chart. Now, here's the other news that I thought we should cover today. Another shockingly good jobs report shows America's economy is booming. The first thought I had when I saw that news title come across the screen from CNN is that it's these types of headlines that often signal that we're near the top. So whenever you see America's economy is booming, by the time the news reports it to you, smart money is selling into the rally. And so I think we need to be careful here. Now, the news that they got so excited about was the January jobs report, which I talked to you guys about in yesterday's video. The expectation of the move was that we would get 185,000, but we actually added 353,000 new jobs, and this was shocking, largely in the healthcare and retail sectors. And now we got to take a minute and digest, was this bullish? Why is the market continuing to rally? Because it can get a little bit confusing. It sounds right now like the market is strong and so stocks are going up, but at the same time, we've priced in all these rate cuts by the Fed, and the Fed said to us the other day that he's not going to give them because the economy's strong. It's the idea that the Fed won't cut rates because he doesn't need to, and the data isn't coming in badly, even though he had raised rates so aggressively. And so let me just explain that again. We're essentially getting some sort of a soft landing here. It's not as hard as people were expecting. That's when the Fed has raised rates to slow the economy down, and the economy is still going kind of strong, and so he doesn't have to lower the rates yet. You got to remember that if he were to lower the rates, it means the economy is slowing down, the earning reports won't be as good, and the Fed's got to do something to breathe life back into the economy. So right now, it seems as if the market is in some sort of an equilibrium, and they're not going to concern themselves until bad data comes out, causing the Fed to actually cut rates, and that would be the signal for taking profits. Here's the bottom line. Something needs to break or crack to keep this market from going higher, but I don't see where that break or crack is going to come from because the earnings reports are good. People have an expectation of what the Fed's going to do, and inflation is coming down. Everything seems to be in harmony, and that's why stocks are moving higher. All right, here's what we've got left to cover. I'm going to cover the SQQQ for you guys briefly, and then we're going to get into crypto, but let me take a quick station break. Guys, I want you to check out the Stock Squad Patreon. That's myself, Stockmo, Keenan Grace, and Stock Up with Larry Jones. We're all feeding trade alerts and technicals and answering questions over there. Click on the link and come check it out and join the Stock Squad family. All right, I wanted to give you guys an update of a crypto that I've been buying a lot of. It's been part of my top 10 cryptos to buy in 2022, 2023, and still in 2024. Now, some of the top 10 cryptos that I had chosen in 2022, I have abandoned, right? But this is not one of them. This is one that I've become even more interested in owning and buying more of in 2024 and have been actively buying in the recent weeks. Now, this one is Chainlink. Ticker LINK. This thing started off when it IPO'd in 2019, just a short number of years ago at 35 cents. And it flipped those digits and it went up 13,730%, all the way up to $53. Absolutely insane. Then, like every other crypto, it dropped the classic 90%. It actually went down 91% and it fell under $5. It moved sideways. And I repeatedly talked about it back in 2022, saying this is exactly the type of bottoming pattern that we want to see. And it's time to accumulate. I said, buy this every single week. Now, I've had it on a buy and it's had an incredible run up right now. We've just come up the other day under $18.80. This has had a huge, monstrous run up and it's showing great gains for anybody that's been buying it. Let me know in the comments section if you guys have been following along and making some bags on Chainlink. Now, I'm going to tell you guys where I think this thing is going to go. We're going to look again at some of these resistance lines, and I see a line that I think it's going to have trouble getting over that previously was a line that it had trouble getting over, and that's $20. And so even though we've run up quite a bit, it's cooled off a little bit today, I think it still has the ability to push up to $20. And the question is when? I can't give you that exact time frame. All I can tell you is that even if we were to come back a little bit from this recent push up, I still think in some short period of time, it wants to touch $20 before going back and testing the lower end of support. Now, I talked with you guys about Bitcoin the other day. I talked with you guys about the miners as well. They're showing a little bit of life. Now, they could capitulate, but they also could make another push up, and that additional push up could cause Chainlink to hit that $20 mark. All right, for those who stuck around to the end, I wanted to cover the ETF SQQQ because in the comment section, I constantly get people asking me, Josh, the market's hot. Stocks like Meta are shooting up, almost $100. Is it time to load up on a hedge, the SQQQ? And so I wanted to give you guys some clear answers regarding that. SQQQ is a 3x leveraged inverse ETF to the QQQ. Now, the last time I talked about it, I told everybody it was not time to buy. Not load up right now on SQQQ. And I said if it dropped below $13.80, it would find its way all the way down to $11. And I had people in the comment section tell me they were loading up and they were going to DCA all the way down, and it's not advisable. Now here's the new warning. These markets are not showing weakness. I want you to visually remember that bull turning around and charging back at the FUD lion. The markets have not been slowing down. You don't want to get in front of a fast moving train until we get some confirmation of a breakdown. And so if we lose $11 on the SQQQ, then this is going to become a $9 stock. Take those technicals seriously because so far I've been spot on with the SQQQ. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you guys for joining me. Thanks for hitting the like again. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button to get the next one in the crypto series. I'm going to be covering crypto stocks that I've got in my top 10 going forward over the course of the next week. Love you all. Take care. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye.